Hey, boxing fans, thanks for joining us tonight on another 8-Count Boxing Hour. Tonight we're going to feature a very tough battle between two of the top-rated super middleweights in the North American Boxing Federation, CECIL MCKENZIE and Daniel the Pitbull Perez. This bout took place at the Albuquerque Convention Center, and right now let's take a look at some of the keys to victory. For CECIL MCKENZIE, he has got to stay busy. He cannot afford to stop his hands from moving here in Perez's hometown. He's got to hurt his opponent early, and he definitely needs to work behind the jab. CECIL MCKENZIE, a very powerful fighter. His opponent, Daniel the Pitbull Perez, who is rated one notch ahead of MCKENZIE, has got to control the pace of the bout. He knows that McKenzie's the harder puncher, and he's going to have to control that. He cannot afford to get into a slugfest with CECIL, and Perez has got to go to the body if he has any chance of winning this bout. And right now, let's go to a little footage from the weigh-in. You want to announce him to the crowd, Max?
We got CECIL MCKENZIE getting on the scale.
Oh, well, give me two right now.
CECIL MCKENZIE.
Okay, right now we're at the Ramada Classic at the weigh-in. Right now you're looking at CECIL MCKENZIE, who comes out of San Jose, California. He's rated number 8, I believe, by the North American Boxing Federation. And he will be stepping onto the scale. This bout is super middleweight. I believe the contract weight approximately 170, maybe 171, but CECIL MCKENZIE.
MCKENZIE 166 and a half. 166 and a half.
Okay, MCKENZIE comes in at 166 and 1/2 pounds, a very cut 166 and a half. You'll notice he's in tremendous shape, not a bit of fat on him, looking a little bit like a large Terry Norris. And now stepping onto the scale is Albuquerque's Daniel the Pitbull Perez. Mr. Perez is rated number 19 in the world by the World Boxing Council.
Do it in and all the way out of it. Got Danny Perez at 172 and a half. 172.
Okay, 172 and a half for Perez. So he's going to have to drop at least a pound here according to the contract, and that is definitely in favor of CECIL MCKENZIE. So
you'll be fighting.
I believe Danny Perez.
Okay. What are you looking forward to the fight? What are you looking at today?
Really just to win. I've just come here to win. If it has to go 10 rounds, we'll go 10 rounds, but I'll come out on top.
What's your record?
8-2 with 5 knockouts.
Okay. Any strategies coming into the fight?
Well, no, because my strategies come in when we're in the ring. Then I know how to take it.
He's going to weigh a little more than you, right?
That's okay. I've always been underweight on all my fights.
Okay.
So you'll be jamming and running a little bit, jamming?
No, I'm not really a runner. And so I like to preserve my legs to the last round. So, not really. I stay there and hit bang with him if he wants to bang and back him up, or if I have to move, I'll move.
So you're ready to go 10 if you have to?
Right. I can go 10.
No problem.
No problem.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot.
now talking with us on the 8-Count Boxing Hour is Danny Perez's opponent, CECIL MCKENZIE. And CECIL, what do you know about your opponent, Daniel Perez?
Nothing much, really. He didn't want to just, he's a constant fighter, fights 10 rounds, that's all.
I believe you guys are right in there about the same rating with the NABF. I think he's a notch or two ahead of you. You planning to pass him up here?
Yeah, I do. I plan to pass him up.
Do you know
Common opponent, Earl Butler. What kind of a time did you have with Earl Butler?
The first fight, it was basically more a tough time because I made it tough. I didn't do things that my corner told me to do. And now the second time, I had my corner with me and I listened and put him out in the first round.
What exactly happened now in your last fight? I heard it was a little controversial.
Well, I believe it was an 8-round fight, and I believe I fought for at least 5 or 6 rounds, and then I just kind of paced myself through, and I believe I won the fight.
That was the first time with Butler.
Right.
And how about this last time? What happened?
Well, the last time I just knocked him out
Where was that fight held?
in Santa Cruz.
Okay, so was that a neutral site or was it your home site?
Well, it was more, I believe it was more my home crowd because
Okay.
it's closer to San Jose.
Okay, you came in at 166 and a half, I think?
Yes,
And what was the contract weight?
168.
Okay, so you didn't have any problem with weight.
No.
How did your training go?
Oh, my training was very fine.
Let us kind of see in your mind how you see the fight going.
I see the fight going the distance. I don't plan to knock anyone out, not unless a knockout comes. If it comes, if I hurt him, then I tell you I can knock him out. But I don't plan to knock anyone out. I just plan to go the distance.
Okay. What kind of amateur experience did you have?
I had 9 fights.
1 to 3.
Yeah, but I won the state championship. I won the national gloves and everything else down there.
Okay, well, I hear you're quite a puncher. I know you're saying that you like to box and go the distance, but I've heard your reputation is as a pretty good banger. Is that true?
I believe I can punch, but I wouldn't say I'm a puncher. I don't knock everyone out.
Right.
So I can punch.
Okay. What would you like to say to the people of Albuquerque right here before we take a look at your fight with Danny Perez?
They'll be looking at a new person to look at after the fight's over with.
Okay, folks, that's CECIL MCKENZIE. Oh, by the way, do you have a nickname?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, maybe you'll learn one tomorrow night, huh?
Hopefully.
Okay, Cecil, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Daniel Perez will be in the ring tomorrow with CECIL MCKENZIE. Do you know anything about Cecil?
Just that he's real strong. He's got a lot of power. He throws all his punches with bad intentions.
Okay, and have you seen any tape on him?
Yes, we've seen one tape on him when he fought the world contender Frank Lyles. He's a former NABF champion, and he hurt Lyles. He showed he has a lot of strength. So I guess our game plan have to be use a lot of speed and fight smart.
How has your training gone for this fight?
The training went really well. It was hard finding sparring partners for this fight, but it's I guess this is the way it happens now because there's not too many fighters close to my weight here in Albuquerque. So for bigger fights in the future, we're gonna have to go out of town for bigger and better sparring.
Okay, now I think you had injured your wrist working out, and has that held you back from training, and will it affect you during the fight?
Well, it seems like it's feeling all right. I think it affected my training a little bit. I wasn't able to throw my left hooks with full momentum, but I think being that we eased up on it a little bit, I think it'll be strong for the fight. Oh, better be strong for the fight. I have no choice no more.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to be in front of a pretty good crowd tomorrow night. It's looking like ticket sales are pretty good.
That's what it's looking like.
And with you and Danny Romero teaming up, it's going to bring a lot of excitement to Albuquerque. Do you think we might see you guys together again?
Well, I'd like for it to keep happening. Danny's a great fighter, and I hope the best for him. And from what it looks like, he'll get a title shot sometime soon. He's a great fighter, and he's bound to give the fans what they want, and that's what I'm here for also.
You know, you came within a hair of being selected as the opponent for Vinny Pazienza on USA Network. How do you compare CECIL MCKENZIE and Vinny Pazienza? Who would be the tougher fight?
CECIL MCKENZIE's a lot stronger. Pazienza is a lot smarter, a lot quicker, with almost the same strength.
Okay, so they both put you in danger, but in different ways, would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I'm in a sport to where you get in the ring, you're always in danger. But that's why you always want to prepare yourself physically and mentally for it.
Okay, well, before you step into the ring with McKenzie tomorrow night, what do you want to say to the people watching here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour?
Well, I hope to see all of you out there. We need a lot of support from you guys, me and Danny Romero, and we're out there to give you fans the show you deserve.
Okay, and that's the pit bull, Danny Perez. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, boxing fans, let's get down to the action now. It's time for the main event. CECIL MCKENZIE coming all the way from San Jose, California, with a record of 8-3 with 5 by knockout. And he'll be taking on Albuquerque's own Daniel the Pitbull Perez with a record of 13-2. 4 of those wins by knockout. Perez is rated number 19 in the world by the WBC. He's rated number 6 by the NABF, and CECIL MCKENZIE right behind him, number 7 by the NABF. And CECIL MCKENZIE hoping to pass Daniel Perez in the rankings. Daniel Perez hoping to use CECIL MCKENZIE as a launching pad towards an NABF title shot. And right now, let's go up to ring announcer Henry Tafoya to get us started on tonight's card. So here we go, boxing fans. It's time to get down to business. Daniel the Pitbull Perez in the red trunks with the black trim, loosening up one last time before he goes toe-to-toe with San Jose, California's CECIL MCKENZIE. Merv Nephew calls for the bell, and here we go. Round one is underway now. CECIL MCKENZIE in the purple trunks. Daniel the Pitbull Perez in the red trunks with the black trim. He's got a little black fringe hanging down the sides of his trunks. And immediately you can see a lot of caution being exercised by Albuquerque's pit bull, Daniel Perez. Daniel Perez knowing that he's in with a tough, big, hard banger. This CECIL MCKENZIE has a reputation of tremendous power, and he put Frank Lyles down, who is a tremendous prospect. World-rated Frank Lyles, CECIL MCKENZIE put him down, and CECIL MCKENZIE also knocking out Earl Butler in one round. And right now you see McKenzie on the attack, and Perez retaliates. Danny Perez, a tremendous counter puncher. CECIL MCKENZIE also known as a counter puncher, so as far as styles, this is going to be a hard match to get going. They're going to have to, it may turn into a bit of a chess match as the two sizing each other up, waiting for the other man to make his move. But one of these two will have to take control. Daniel Perez said he would be cautious, that he knows what he has to do, and let's see if he can carry out his game plan tonight. The two have a common opponent, Earl Butler. Daniel Perez winning a very rugged 10-round decision here in Albuquerque some time back. And CECIL MCKENZIE had fought Earl Butler twice, dropping an 8-round decision in Laughlin, Nevada, and getting his revenge with a first-round knockout in their last meeting. This bout just now getting underway. It's round one. Daniel Perez in the red trunks and CECIL MCKENZIE in the purple trunks. There you see McKenzie now trying to land that short little right. Daniel Perez, again, very cautious. He's going to have to outbox, outthink his opponent. And there you see Perez missing with that big right hand. CECIL MCKENZIE's manager, Joey Amato, very confident at the weigh-in, telling us that Perez would probably not lay a glove on his charge. McKenzie. Oh, and there's a good right hand now. CECIL MCKENZIE on the attack, and Perez ties him up immediately. So the pit bull may have got a taste of the power of McKenzie. McKenzie's manager, as I was saying, was very confident, and he said that Perez would not lay a glove on CECIL, that CECIL had sparred over 160 rounds in preparation for this bout. And he really showed a lot of confidence at the weigh-in, and we'll see if McKenzie can carry out what his manager wants him to do. If it gets into a battle of jabs, both men have a good jab. I wouldn't give much of an edge to either one. Daniel Perez maybe with a little more hand speed, and Daniel Perez can throw a pretty hard, stiff jab, which can be a very effective weapon if he can get it going. But again, CECIL MCKENZIE looking to counterpunch, and that ends round one. So both men come out kind of studying each other, a little bit of... And you could see the respect from both Perez and McKenzie. We look into the corner now of Daniel the Pitbull Perez. Joe Turrieta giving him the instructions, and his father, Joe Perez, as well as Dan Kushner working as cut man tonight. And now we look into the corner of CECIL. Joey Amato leaning over to talk to CECIL, giving him instructions. So not a lot of action in that first round, but a lot of boxing technique being used. Both men, again, being very cautious with one another. And it looks like whoever can land the big shot first may have a big edge in this fight. So both men off their stools, about ready to start round two. Referee Merv Nephew calls for the bell, and here we go now. Round two is underway. From the Albuquerque Convention Center, this is Dan Cisneros at ringside, bringing you the action here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. A battle of super middleweights. Both men are rated in the top 10 of the North American Boxing Federation. Albuquerque's Daniel Pitbull Perez and San Jose, California's CECIL MCKENZIE. There you see McKenzie coming up a little bit short with that right hand, and he kind of swings at his left out there as if to say he's not quite warmed up. Now Perez tries to get the jab going. You'll see a lot of feints from both of these men. Their styles, they depend on giving you a little fake and see how you react, and then they shoot their stuff after you make your move, as you saw Perez. And as you'll notice, the two they will fake a lot. You'll see a lot of them faking with their shoulders, with their hands, and you see them moving side to side there a little bit, trying to get the other man to react and trying to counterpunch off what that man does. Now you see McKenzie getting a little bit more aggressive. His corner is shouting for him to get going. They're yelling jab, jab, and I guess they want him to get going here and get a little bit offensive with Perez, who is in his hometown. And CECIL McKenzie, being on the road, needs to be a little bit more aggressive. He told us at the pre-fight interview that he was not looking for a knockout, but that he could score a knockout, but he was content to go 10 rounds and win a decision. And now McKenzie opens up just a little bit there, tries to get that left hook going. Perez again studying his opponent very cautiously. Comes in with a right hand and misses now. And you can just see both of these men looking for an opening, just waiting for that opening to land their big bombs. Daniel Perez, don't underestimate his punching power. He also carries a good punch, but he doesn't rely on punching power with 4 knockouts in his 13 victories. Oh, and Perez lands a good little right, knocks McKenzie back now. McKenzie goes down, Perez landed a right and hits him on the deck now. Referee Merv Nephew calls for him to back off, and McKenzie got caught with a right hand right on the temple, it looked like. And he went down. Daniel Perez, getting excited, jumped right on him and hit him while he was on the deck. Perez has got to control himself, and now again a right hand from Daniel Perez. Good second round here for the pit bull from Albuquerque. Now McKenzie trying to counter back on Perez, knowing that he's lost a point there with a knockdown. That was a solid knockdown, although it was a bit of a flash. McKenzie got up and looks clear. It was a good, clean knockdown scored by the pit bull from Albuquerque, Daniel Perez. This is a very important match for both men. Daniel Perez rated number 6 by the NABF. CECIL McKenzie ranked number 7. And the winner of this is really going to be in a good position for a title shot, a shot at that NABF title held by Warren Williams of Houston, Texas. And there's the bell to end the second round. So a good round now for Daniel Perez as he scores a knockdown, a surprising flash knockdown. And here's the replay. And right there you see the right hand to the temple of McKenzie. I believe it caught him on the side of the head, not on the chin, but on the temple. Let's see if we could freeze that now. And there you see Perez working on him. And down goes McKenzie again, and referee Merv Nephew jumping on Perez as he got carried away. And there's the shot right there. Yeah, it looks like it's right on the temple. Daniel Perez landing a right hand to McKenzie. So that's got to fire up the pit bull now. And the crowd really liked it. And round 3 now is underway. CECIL McKenzie starting to dig himself a little bit of a hole here. He cannot afford to do that in the hometown of Albuquerque's Daniel Perez. We've got a fantastic crowd here tonight. Looks like about 2,000 people here at the Albuquerque Convention Center. Co-main event, Daniel Perez versus CECIL McKenzie and Albuquerque's Danny Romero Jr., who was scheduled to fight Robinson Cuesta on this card. Cuesta not showing. So it was had to fly in Juan Cortez to face Romero. But right now we're looking at Daniel the Pitbull Perez and CECIL McKenzie in a battle of super middleweights. 170 pounds was the contracted weight. Perez coming in at 170 and McKenzie at 166.5, although Perez did come in a little bit heavy and he had to drop a pound at the weigh-in. So Perez getting supercharged with that knockdown, and now you see McKenzie trying to score on Perez. And Perez moves out of the way very slick. Both men are great defensive fighters. And now McKenzie trying to jab his way in. That's what he needs to do. Neither man really able to take control of this fight. It's been really been a chess match. I think McKenzie has a lot of respect for Perez now that he was dropped by the pit bull. And Daniel Perez knew all about the reputation of McKenzie coming into this fight. So it's going to be you can see the respect that both men have. And again, the key to victory for Perez, I think, would be if he would get his jab going, maybe doubling up on that jab and moving in behind that. I think he could find the openings on McKenzie. Again, CECIL McKenzie not letting his hands go like he should. There he does a nice little combination. Perez does well, slipping out of the way. But McKenzie needs to do more of that. He's going to have to stay busy and just hope he can land that power on Perez. CECIL MCKENZIE, who was a finalist in the 1988 Olympic trials. He was in the West region, and he was going all the way to the finals, coming very close to making our Olympic team. So he's a tremendous boxer, CECIL MCKENZIE. 3 losses, but those losses, 1 to Earl Butler, 1 to Frank Lyles, and 1 to the USBA champion Tim Littles. So only the best in the world can beat this man, and Daniel Perez has his hands full here tonight in Albuquerque. Both men just posing, feinting, looking for an opening. Perez now comes forward and misses. McKenzie is a hard target. He's not a brawler. It's really been hard to land a clean shot on CECIL MCKENZIE. And Daniel Perez is going to have to be a little bit on the scientific side. And that ends the 3rd round, so not much action there. Here's a little action replay from that 3rd round. And you can see McKenzie there sticking his jab out. And if he can continue to land the jab, he could be a lot more effective. Actually, either one of these men, if they can get their jab going, could really find some pay dirt there, but it seems like they kind of want to just pose and look for one shot. Round 4 now underway here. We're coming to you from the Albuquerque Convention Center. Again, CECIL MCKENZIE in the purple trunks has been down once. Daniel Perez put him down in the 2nd round, and Perez has not been down or hurt. Again, Perez trying to get his jab going, coming up short. It's easy to throw it, but not easy to connect on McKenzie. McKenzie just throwing the jab out there, but it didn't look like he was really expecting to land it, just showing the jab. And Perez now, he tries to sneak in that right hand, but it doesn't connect. So, as I said, both men are defensive wizards. Very, very important fight. Both men could be a little tight here also, especially Daniel Perez in front of his hometown crowd. But Warren Williams, the NABF champion, awaits the winner of this bout and scheduled a January 29th meeting in Cancun, Mexico for that title. And you know how badly Daniel Perez would like to bring that title back to New Mexico. Of course, CECIL MCKENZIE with the same plan, so he accepted this fight hoping he can get past Perez and get on to the North American Boxing Federation title, that NABF title. Again, McKenzie just not letting his hands go enough. Perez is showing the jab a little bit more often, but neither man really busy at all. And there's Perez again with the jab. McKenzie tries to come back with a right hand and misses, coming up short. You can just feel the tension in the air. Both fighters are really cautious, and there's a feeling of tension in the crowd here in Albuquerque. A lot of concern for the pitbull Daniel Perez. Oh, a good left hand lands from Perez now. And he ties up McKenzie, who tries to bull his way in. Daniel Perez, who injured his hand during sparring, during training, was not able to get enough sparring, as much sparring as he would have liked. And so he had a little bit of a handicap in his training camp, but towards the end there, he felt he was coming on strong and felt good for this match. Again, Perez comes out with a jab, and now he's tying up McKenzie behind the neck. Referee gives him a warning. Daniel Perez using every trick in the book. There's a lot at stake tonight here. And there's the bell to end the round. So, not a lot of action, but tremendous scientific boxing. If you're a boxing purist, you like this one. There you see Joey Amato telling CECIL MCKENZIE what he wants him to do. And that's probably get busy. I think he had no idea that CECIL would be holding back so much. Daniel Perez just slightly out busying his opponent, staying a little bit busier. And there you see the Perez corner going to work on Daniel the Pitbull Perez. So here we go now. The action back underway. Round 5. We're just about halfway through this very important super middleweight bout. Daniel the Pitbull Perez in the red trunks with the black fringe. CECIL MCKENZIE in the solid purple trunks. And now McKenzie comes in with a double left hook. Left hook to the head, goes down to the body with it. Perez covered up nicely, however. Again, McKenzie has Perez almost back to the ropes, but he's not letting his hands go. He's being very cautious. I just don't know, maybe that knockdown really got a lot of respect out of him, but he's gonna have to open up and let his hands fly. Now Perez tries to come out with that jab, looks a little tight with the jab. Again, both men just posing, waiting for the other two counter punchers. Nobody wanting to take the lead in this dance. Perez shoots out a little jab and McKenzie tries to counter off it, but neither man was effective with that. Both men, though, with their guards high. Now Perez comes in and lands a good little short combo. McKenzie kind of walks to the side and moves out of the way, gets back to center ring. CECIL MCKENZIE, the pride of San Jose, California. Again, Perez feigning, trying to make that opening. And McKenzie just too tough of a defensive wizard. Oh, and there's a solid right hand from Perez. That's a scoring blow. That's what Daniel Perez needs to do. He finally got an opening. He was able to slip it in. Again, body shots now. Both men land body shots. Daniel Perez faced a tremendous defensive fighter in Randy Smith last year, and or earlier this year, actually, and he was really taken to school by Randy Smith, and right now I think he can call on some of that learning he has. Randy Smith was a tremendous defensive fighter, no offense whatsoever, but Perez really had a hard time getting Randy Smith to open up. Hopefully he learned something there and he can get McKenzie now to open up a little bit. Of course, CECIL MCKENZIE carries that double threat of good defense and powerful offense, and now he comes in with some big right hands. The two men mix it up in the corner, but the bell rings. So that ends the 5th round. Let's go to some replay action now. Perez comes in on McKenzie and he just kind of spins out to the side. Oh, and there you see that good left hand followed by, or left jab and the right hand by Perez. Nice combination, and you see it flush on the jaw of McKenzie. So Daniel Perez looking good in this battle of super middleweights. Dean Loheis, the WBC ratings commissioner, made CECIL MCKENZIE the favorite in this fight. Believe it or not, he had McKenzie coming in as the favorite. So Daniel Perez in the role of underdog, but looking good so far, knocking down McKenzie and pretty well able to take slight control of this bout. Round 6 now underway. Coming to you from the Convention Center in Albuquerque. Again, Prime Productions, the promoter of tonight's event. We'd like to thank them for allowing us to put this battle on the air for you. So both men just kind of pick up where they left off. Feigning, trying to find a good counter punch. But neither man wants to give his opponent something to work with now, and Perez just kind of dances back a little bit and resets and starts over again. Comes in with that jab. The jab's been coming up short. Perez has not been able to establish a good solid jab, and that would really have helped him in this battle. McKenzie lands a jab, comes back with a short one. Perez comes back with a right hand that misses now. Two good defensive fighters. Oh, and Perez lands a good little right hand. Just a short kind of chopping right. Again, Perez continuing to throw, but coming up short. Again, Perez coming up short with the right hand, so McKenzie very hard to hit. He's not a dancer, but he's been hard to get to. Again, Perez trying to go down to the body now, missing. McKenzie was stunned by that knockdown in the second round. It really surprised him out of nowhere, but he got up looking pretty good. He didn't look too hurt, but it was a solid shot that put him to the deck. Now McKenzie trying to go to the body on the counter punch, and Perez continuing to shoot upstairs. Oh, and Perez now lands a combination. McKenzie gets out of town quick, backing up and coming back now with his guard up. McKenzie was kind of lulled to sleep there, and Perez snuck in a little combination. Nothing big, but it did score. And so few punches being thrown that each punch that lands is very, very precious. McKenzie now coming up short with the jab. Hey, Perez clips the face of McKenzie with that little quickie right. And so that ends the round again. A good round for Daniel Perez. Just staying a hair busier than his opponent, doing just enough to win. And McKenzie's corner doesn't look too pleased with his performance. And here's a little replay action. You see Perez there throwing about 4 shots and landing maybe 2. But anything's better than nothing when it's such a close fight and so few punches being thrown. And there you see Perez way above McKenzie as he ducked down out of the way of that left hook. So McKenzie, no doubt, is a defensive wizard, but he's going to have to get some more offense going. He's in the Pit Bull's den here, the Albuquerque Convention Center. Daniel Perez, who was named as an opponent for Vinny Pazienza, and Pazienza took a look at some videotape of Perez and said no thank you. He opted to fight Marvin Hagler's half-brother Robbie Sims, who's about, I think, 38 years old going on 50. And Pazienza not wanting to take a risk and face the Pit Bull Perez, they turned him down. So that's kind of a feather in the cap of Daniel Perez, although it didn't help him as far as getting a win over Pazienza. It would have been a tremendous fight, but it turned out for the good because CECIL McKenzie has come to town, and right now Daniel Perez looking as if he's able to control CECIL McKenzie so far. CECIL McKenzie, who came into this fight with a tremendous reputation around the boxing world in the super middleweight division, but so far he's met his match with Daniel the Pitbull Perez. And the spray goes flying from the head of McKenzie on that little right hand. Both men are continuing to box. They are not letting their guard down. They are not losing their concentration and getting into a slugfest. They are both boxing. And Perez right now looking like he may have the formula to win this fight unless McKenzie can change his fight plan. There's a chopping right hand from Perez. And now McKenzie misses with a combination, right-left, both missed. Now Perez comes charging out of the corner, missing with all those shots. There's a little right hand, just wobbled McKenzie just a little bit. Maybe knocking him off balance just a little bit, but again, that's a scoring blow. McKenzie just not letting his hands go, continues to stand and pose. Now Perez comes in again with that chopping right. Perez going to the body, coming back upstairs now. And I don't know if McKenzie's plan is to let Perez tire himself out or what, but we're at the mile-high altitude of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Daniel Perez is acclimated, and CECIL McKenzie may have to change his strategy here. So another round in the books here at the another round in the books, and Daniel Perez able to hold on to his lead. And there you see the Pitbull pack working on their young fighter, Daniel the Pitbull Perez. That's Dan Krishner working on the lumps and bumps there. Working with the end swell, trying to keep all the swelling down, keep Perez in good condition. We're heading for round 8, so we got 3 to go, 8, 9, and 10. And I would expect CECIL McKenzie to come on with a charge now. He's falling behind on points, and he's going to need to hurt Perez to get back into this fight. So round 8 is underway now. Dan Cisneros at ringside, bringing you this exciting battle of super middleweight top teners in the North American Boxing Federation. Daniel the Pitbull Perez in the red trunks, CECIL McKenzie in the purple. This was a highly anticipated bout here in Albuquerque. And now McKenzie comes out with a little right hand. It looks like he might start to open up just a bit. He's by no means out of this fight. A lot of the rounds have been pretty close, but Perez seeming to just be outworking McKenzie just a little bit. And of course the knockdown was a big plus for Daniel Perez. Both men trying to get their jab going. Now McKenzie on the attack, backs Perez into the corner and goes to work on him. McKenzie now opening up a little bit, and he snuck in a little left to the chin of Perez there. Perez tries to fight his way out of that corner and get back to center ring, and McKenzie lands a good right hand. Again, McKenzie comes back with the overhand right. There's a good body shot from McKenzie now. CECIL McKenzie starting to pound on Perez against the ropes. Oh, and Perez runs into a right. That really got Perez's attention, and Daniel Perez is holding on here, so McKenzie starting to display his power. Opened up, and now Perez comes back with a jab right hand. Good right hand from Daniel Perez. McKenzie now starting to open up, so I think he's getting the message. He's going to have to get busy. So far, it's been a good round for CECIL McKenzie. Oh, some solid shots landed from McKenzie again. Perez starting to take some punishment here. Daniel Perez, though, with a chin of iron. And now he comes back fighting and lands some good shots on McKenzie. The crowd getting up on their feet here. Daniel Perez fighting back. He started off kind of slow, taking a lot of punishment, but he starts to fight his way back and land some good clean shots on his opponent, CECIL McKenzie. And now McKenzie controlling the center ring, throwing the jab, and Perez tries to jab back. So McKenzie coming out strong with a good combination, backing Perez to the ropes a few times, but Perez coming out swinging. And now Perez throws a combination, comes up short. So a real chess match. I'm telling you, it's a tremendous scientific boxing match. Both men using strategy and being very cautious here. A lot at stake. And now McKenzie again opening up. And that ends the round, so a good round. Both men landing some solid shots. Probably an edge in that one to CECIL McKenzie, who was able to land with combination punching. And we've got 2 rounds to go here on the 8-count boxing hour. Rounds 9 and 10, Daniel Perez and CECIL McKenzie. Perez starting to take a little bit of wear and tear in that 8th round. Here's a replay now of Perez fighting his way off the ropes. McKenzie had him backed up, and Perez landing that good right hand. So the 9th round is underway now. CECIL McKenzie starting to fight his way back. And Perez is going to have to get busy here too. It's been a close enough fight that neither man can just start to get on his bicycle and let the rounds go by. Both men need these last 2 rounds. Although we do have Perez slightly ahead here. Of course, that's highly unofficial. Now Perez tries to sneak in that right hand. He was able to land that right in the 2nd round, and he hasn't been able to do it since. McKenzie tightened up his defense just a little bit more. And there Perez sneaks something in. Both men shooting. Both men just content to wait for the other man to make a mistake. But both are being so cautious, not a lot of mistakes being made. Now McKenzie shoots the jab out there, coming up short. There he lands a little left, right. And Perez faking that jab, he ought to just let it go. Again, Perez with the jab. There's the right hand now. And Perez coming up short with that right hand. McKenzie tries to fire a left to the body. If Daniel Perez would double up on that jab, I think he'd be effective and have McKenzie reacting to it, then come back with something with a hook or a big right hand. Now Perez backing McKenzie into the ropes. Caught him and knocked him just a little bit off balance. Perez trying to slip under that jab from McKenzie, but both men with tight defense. You can see McKenzie just real leisurely back away from Perez when he launches those right hands or jabs. And Perez with his hands up high. As we said before, CECIL McKenzie came into this bout with a tremendous knockout reputation. And Perez fighting the perfect fight. He's really been smart. If McKenzie doesn't want to open up and go wild, Perez has been capitalizing on that mistake and just standing back and letting McKenzie do nothing and shooting just enough punches to win the rounds. Daniel Perez using his head, showing that he not only has the boxing skills, but the savvy as well. And now Perez throws that little left hand and McKenzie backs up. But as long as McKenzie's backing away, he's not winning the round. So another round in the books for Daniel Pitbull Perez. And McKenzie on our card is going to need a knockout to win this one. There's a little left hand getting in from McKenzie. One round to go, and Daniel Perez can taste that victory here in front of his hometown. There was a lot of concern going in as he came in a pound overweight. He had to drop that weight at the weigh-in. And the injury to his hand in sparring, he just had a lot of things going against him. McKenzie, on the other hand, had a tremendous training camp, according to his manager, Joey Amato. Of course, Perez with the home ring advantage might feel a little bit more comfortable and rested here in his hometown of Albuquerque. So both men with edges in different departments, and it's made for a good close fight. Round 10 underway, both men touch him up, and here we go with the final 3 minutes of this bout here on the 8-count boxing hour. Now Perez showing that jab again and trying to come in with the right hand behind it, but coming up short. Again, Perez showing the jab. Showing a jab to the body now, but not touching McKenzie. Now McKenzie misses a fight. Perez coming up short now. Neither man really landing the punch so far this round. That's a tribute to the defensive skills of each fighter, but now they both land jabs at the same time. Perez again trying to jab right hand. Daniel Perez keeping his hands high, keeping his defense tight. He knows that, or at least he feels that he's ahead in this bout. And I'm sure his corner has told him, don't get wild, don't get careless. Again, Perez missing with that little left hook. And McKenzie just not letting his hands go, just standing there. Time running out on CECIL McKenzie, and he needs to let his hands go. There's a little left hand blocked, little left jab. Blocked by Perez. Perez comes back with a little sloppy punch there. Neither man doing much. Brandon just keeping McKenzie at bay with feints. Just feigning enough to keep McKenzie at bay. We're in the final round of 10. Again, Perez showing the jab. McKenzie gets a little sneaky punch in there, but no punishment whatsoever. And again, McKenzie tries a combination and Perez tries to counter. Neither man too effective here in this final round. Now, and Perez slaps him with a little left hand. On the exchange, now McKenzie coming in. There's a body shot from McKenzie. And he misses, and there's the bell. So the bout goes the full distance, 10 rounds. And it is now in the hands of the judges. Not a real slugfest, but a definite chess match, a match of strategy. Daniel Perez trying to just do enough to win the rounds, and McKenzie allowing him to do so. And we see it as a pretty close match, but a slight edge perhaps to Perez, but we'll have to wait and see what the judges have to say on that. So a lot at stake, a lot on the line here as the two top tenors face off. And we're just about ready for the decision here of the judges. It's going to come down to the three judges, Hugh Bishop, Rocky Burke, and Larry Chavez. The winner of this match has been promised a January 29th bout for the NABF title. And that title belt will be at stake. The fight will be held in Cancun, Mexico. Of course, this is all subject to change. But right now, the winner of this match is going to be in real good shape for a possible title shot. And you can see that neither camp is really celebrating it. They're not too sure who won this fight, and it's going to be close. The crowd just kind of buzzing, kind of waiting for the decision. CECIL McKenzie had the power, but just didn't let his hands go, and Daniel Perez took advantage of it. Very smart fight by Perez. I feel that he fought almost the perfect fight, a lot at stake, and he had to be careful and just be sure to get the victory. And we're just about ready for the decision, so let's go up to ring announcer Henry Tafoya for the final decision on this bout.
Judges Larry Chavez, Hugh Bishop, and Rocky Burke. Larry Chavez has it 98, 92. Hugh Bishop has it 98, 97. Has it 98, 95. Perez. What about unanimous decision?
Okay, so a unanimous decision goes to Albuquerque's Pitbull Perez. His pro record going to 14-2. One judge had it by a point, one judge had it by 3 points, and one judge by 6. A good decision, and congratulations to Albuquerque's Pitbull, Daniel Perez.